Hi friends, I'm Katie. Welcome back to my studio. Today I wanted to talk a little bit of planner angst, rethinking some of my system, just kind of a planner chat and a bit of a flip through. So the last video I posted a few weeks ago was a flip through of my Q1 Sterling Ink Common planners, both my Passport and my B6, and that really brought up some things for me as I flipped through it because I wasn't I wasn't always enjoying what I was doing. So let's talk about the B6 first. I love both of my planners, just for the record. I think they're amazing products, but I've been in a little bit of a funk. I'm mostly out of it. Q1 is a hard quarter for me. The days are short. It's cold. Like, it's just not a time that brings out a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of like drive for me. And when I look through my 5-year journal, I can see that I was like writing the same things in 2022 and the same things in 2023 and on 2024, like on the same days. Like, it's a time that I like recognize that like that's a hard time for me and I shouldn't expect too much of myself and I should like just know kind of to expect that. But it does mean that like my journal and planners got kind of neglected. It doesn't necessarily look that way when you flip through it, but almost all of these are backdated in one big swoop at the end of the week. And that just got tiresome. Like I enjoyed doing it while I was doing it, but I put it off a lot and it was a lot of work to do it this complicatedly with all the colors and the whatever. So sometimes I would just eschew a lot of that and keep it simple. And some days I just like skipped it. And I think those are fine outcomes, but I wasn't happy now that I'm like feeling better and a little more. I need a switch up, you know? Um, I think that they look cool. I mean, I like them, but right now it's, it's the 4th today, so I have all of this week to do and like 3 days of the week before, and all of this week. And I'm just this week, I never even decorated it. I'm just letting it go. Maybe I'll journal in it a little bit, but I'm not gonna decorate it. I'm gonna let it go. This one I do kind of want to backfill because I love these stickers. I picked these stickers because I love them. And I have the notes in my Passport planner, so I can fill it out. And this one is almost done, so I'm going to do that. But this current system is not working for me. Like on an emotional level, even if I do really enjoy paging through them. So it's time for shake up. In terms of the Passport planner, I'm not unhappy here. It's working. Sometimes I use it more than others, but in terms of carrying it around with me and keeping me as much on task as I feel like being on task, this is working. But the like taking notes and then filling it back into my B6, I'm a little over right now. And I thought about just only keeping that weekly information in this Passport planner and not transferring it into my B6, but I actually really hope to just recycle this Passport planner at the end of the year. I don't put any stickers in it. I very consciously have just kept it pen and ink, and my hope is to just cut the PU leather cover off of it and recycle the whole thing. And so I don't want to keep my memories in here long term, but I also don't want to keep back planning. So, I watched a lot of YouTube. I've been watching a lot of Q1 like planner videos of other people who are reflecting, and I did some Instagram searching for inspiration, and What I landed on is a little unintuitive, which is instead of making my system easier, I am actually making it harder. Uh, but not a lot harder, and harder in ways that I find really stimulating. And that's really the problem, is that I wasn't wanting to do it. My like daily journal was like constantly behind and being backdated too. There are missing pages, there are things I had to tip in. All of that is fine if I was fine with it, but because I wasn't fine with it, it wasn't, you know? Um, I got I'm tired of backdating. I wanted to make something that I wanted to do, you know? It sounds so simple, but like it actually was a little bit of a revelation. So, I did some thinking, I did some searching. I don't know, sometime in like December, after I'd already bought all of my planners, but I was at my mother-in-law's house and just scrolling on the internet for hours because, you know, holidays. And I a little bit fell in love with the Midori Hibino, which is like this super thick planner with 2 pages per day for the whole year. And I don't actually want a Midori Hibino. I do not want something that thick. What I want is like a Midori Hibino half year, you know, or third year or something. But there's really actually nothing that complicated about it. And the beauty of the Sterling Ink planners is that, you know, the pages are mine to do with as I want. There's really nothing on them. And so because I have missed so many days in my journal, I actually have enough pages left for this half of the year to do 2 pages a day for the rest of this book. So that's what I started experimenting with. The first one was this one here. And so the structure here is I have this information that I was doing on the weekly. I have it here. Originally I was calling it schedule. That sounds really like too formalized. I've changed it to events. It's mostly memory keeping, although sometimes there are things that are pre-scheduled. Here I color code for some of the content that's in the journaling. I was already doing that sometimes before. It's something I got from Megan Rhiannon. So a little bit of kind of color coding what's in the journal. These are, you know, essentially kind of a semi-hourly rundown of what's going on. I haven't been doing all the fancy lettering and stuff that I was doing in my weekly. Maybe I'll start bringing some of that back if I feel like it. But right now, I'm keeping it simple because there are more elements than there used to be on a daily basis, and I don't want to like go fast, too hard, too ambitious, and like lose steam immediately. So I've got that, then I've got what is essentially 1 page's worth of journaling, which was already an amount that I felt good about. At one point when I was thinking about this, I wondered if I would wish I was doing a B6 Slim, if this would be too much space. It's not too much space. So far it's feeling like pretty much exactly the right amount of space. I start running out of journaling momentum around here and can kind of get to the end. Or, you know, I could stop, but I do like a nice filled page, and that's not that much space to fill. So I actually think the B6 size is really good. Here I have an intention for the day, something simple, something accomplishable, my like one big thing. Here are my tasks. This was a weekend day, so there are more tasks here than there normally are. And then this space here, I just kind of changed day by day about what I want to put there. That's at the end of the day, based on how much space there is after the task list, I just kind of fill that in. And then I have a tomorrow section for like the one big thing tomorrow. Usually the intention the next day is related to the tomorrow from the day before. And so sometimes I just put like a sticker here, happy mail list, It's a great place to put a photo. This is a 1.5 by 2-inch photo, I believe. And that worked great here. And I would like a better place to be putting photos in my journal that don't feel like they mess with the graphic design. I know that's dumb, but that's who I am. You know, I am an artist at my fundamental level. This journal is both a journal and an art project, and so I like a place where I can add a picture at the end of the day when I've already done the decor and whatever. So that's some pizza we ate. But sometimes, you know, it's just deco. So I've done this 6 days now. This is yesterday. I still haven't totally finished filling this out yet. Often I do a little bit of wrap up the next morning, but I figured I'd show it to you. And then the night before, I usually do about this much work. It doesn't really take me very long to do this. You know, there are some things, but it hasn't taken me long. This is 3 squares down, 3 squares over, and then I just fill it in. This is 6 squares over. So I can do this pretty quickly. I have been doing all of the sidebars in a neutral color. Originally I was doing black, but the black was a little harsh. So I've switched to kind of like a sepia color, which I really like. I feel like it goes with everything. It's neutral, it's not too harsh, and I've really been enjoying that, although it does seem like it's getting dark. So whatever, it's fine. But I like using this kind of ink here because if I like doing this the night before, but I also have not yet the night before decided what my pens are going to be, what my deco is going to be. I like leaving that to be on a whim for how I feel on the day of. And I like the neutral on the sides because I don't feel like I am making decisions the night before that really I have to live with the next day. I still feel like all of my options are still available to me at this stage. And one of the things I really like about this setup is that I am not making decisions today that I have to live with tomorrow. When I was doing this style of journaling, it didn't really bother me except for on the days that it did. But, you know, on the 12th, I decided I was going to use this ink. Usually I switch every day, you know, so on this is what I did on through the 6th. On the 7th, I decided to use this ink and stickers. And so on the 8th, I still wanted to use, well, I still felt like I needed to use that ink. I didn't really, but that's how I felt. And so a thing I found myself reacting to isn't actually so much that on the 8th I didn't want to use this stuff. It's that on the 7th I felt a lot of pressure to make decisions that I was still going to like on the 8th. And so something I like about the 2 pages per day is that I am only making decisions for today. Does that sound incredibly non-committal? Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe, but this is my hobby. It's a thing I enjoy. You know, so much of life is very structured and not really up to me on a day-to-day basis, you know? I like for my hobbies to be able to give me the freedom to follow my whims, you know? And I could have done that in the other style, absolutely. But a thing I am really enjoying about this style is that I'm not doing that. Today is just absolutely full of potential. I can pick anything I want, and that feels really good to me in the stage that I am. And, you know, in the past week, I have been so eager to get my hands on this every day. Not just every day, but multiple times a day. I usually journal a little bit first thing in the morning, a little bit in the afternoon, and some either last thing at night or the next morning about the evening. And I am picking this up and interacting with it joyfully way more than I was before. Will I burn out on this too? I mean, probably. I am a person who likes to change things, and when I forget that, I just stop doing it. It doesn't always occur to me that I'm bored and that I should switch something. I just like stop doing it. So the idea that this is going to be what I want to do forever is like very unlikely. But like it doesn't need to be, right? The pages are blank. So I can change what I want to do tomorrow with almost no consequence. I have thought about doing a version of this that is only one page on a day. I was afraid that on weekdays I wouldn't want to fill all this much out. That hasn't been true. There would be some advantages to having like a layout like this for one page a day. I'm sure I could compress this and get some of the stuff over. I'm not eager to do that, and so since I haven't had a problem so far, I'm just going to leave it. I think more likely what I'm going to do is just try to work on being okay with it not being full. But yeah, they're just blank pages. I can change on a whim what I feel like doing. The only problem is that these Sterling ink planners do not have enough pages for 2 pages a day. It's not a problem right now because I've missed so many pages that according to my count, I'm going to be fine for the rest of this year and not the rest of the year, the rest of this half year. And then I have to decide what I'm going to do about the other half year. And I'm trying really hard not to spend too much time obsessing about this and definitely not to think too much about 2025, which I am thinking about, and I do feel really silly because it's May, but we're probably not terribly far from pre-orders. I've already committed to not pre-ordering for next year. I knew I was going to need a shakeup, that like doing this whole thing in 2023 and doing it again in 2024 was going to lead to burnout. And it did a little sooner than I'd hoped, but I had already said at the beginning of this year, I'm not pre-ordering for 2025. So like, I really need to stop thinking about it. I am thinking about the second half of the year because I won't have enough pages. And so if I keep doing this, I don't even know if I'm going to, like, that starts in July. That's still 3 months from now. Like, no, it's 2 months. It's 2 months from now. But I need to give myself some time first. I've told myself I'm not ordering anything based on these decisions until June at the earliest. And because all I'd be ordering is a notebook. There's not a planner that's set up for 2 pages a day that's out there. So what I'd need to decide is if I'm selling my half year one and just going full Bujo, just a notebook, no structure, or if I'm keeping my half year and I'm just adding a supplemental notebook to it. And if that's what I decide and that's what I'm leaning towards, I won't need to decide that until September, because I can get a quarter in. And so September, can I do the math in my head again this time? That's month 9. So that's 5 months from now. Who knows? Like, it's silly to order things now for a thing that will not be a problem for another 5 months if it becomes a problem at all. So I'm not ordering anything. I'm committed to not ordering anything until June at the earliest if I'm selling the half, and August at the earliest if I'm adding a notebook. I don't need it. There's no sense. There's no sense buying a bunch of things based on 6 days of data. It's tempting. I want to. I have spent an inordinate amount of time looking at all the planners and all the notebooks and seeing what might work, but I'm not buying anything. This is fine. What I'm rubbing against here is, in light of the new style, what does that mean for my weekly? Do I just skip doing it? Like, is it just no longer part of my system right now? That makes me feel bad in one of these. I really don't enjoy the idea of just leaving them blank. So that would be a reason to, if I really don't want to do them, to sell the half year and to buy a notebook instead where I don't have pages that make me feel guilty, because I already like barely use my monthly and haven't used any of the quarterly or planning pages. And I have some ideas on how maybe to work some of my journaling into these, but like if all I'm using are the blank pages, why do I have all the other stuff? But maybe I'll want the other stuff. I am a person who changes plans a lot. So I'm thinking about doing a little low pressure experimentation in my weeklies where I don't do this at all, but I do some lower stake styles. Back when I first got one of these in 2023, let me go get that one. I used to change weekly setups a lot. You know, this kind of weeks style with memo. I used to change these a lot, and I've fallen into a rut. When I switched to all memory keeping instead of planning, I switched to these weeklies, and I think I've been doing that. I think I did that almost the whole second half of the year last year and the first like 4 months of this year, and I think it's time to work this kind of thing in. Actually, as I'm looking at this, maybe I should page through my old planners more. This is using some of the paper that I get from Planners Anonymous, which I don't currently have a use for. So I think I'm going to try this. This is just some very basic tasks that happen on specific days. I might work in maybe some of my Moxie Life journaling into some of this if I feel like it. I'm going to do the weekly plenty of times. It's time to experiment and change this. I have a number of weeks ahead of me before I have to switch into the new book. I'm very thankful to be in the half year, by the way. A, because they can get kind of bulky, and B, because there is like a built-in reset option. If I decide I don't want the second half, I think someone will want it. But there are implications, of switching to this style. I don't really know what to do with my weekly next. After I turn off the camera, I'm going to go play with it. I really do want to back to this. I'm going to do it like that JoJo Loves to Plan one. I'm going to do it like this. One pen, one color, keep it simple. But I've been putting it off because as much as I've been reaching for this and wanting to be here, I haven't been here. And I don't think it's right for my hobbies to make me feel sad, and I really don't want to be that way, but I really want to spend some time with these stickers. To be honest with you, I picked them because I really, really like them, and I want to spend time with them, even if it's just for an hour backfilling it. I would have rather spent a week with them, but like that's not where we're at. So I don't know. We're still working through that. Maybe you'll get an update from me in a couple weeks where I can talk about what I've been trying and what may or may not be working in my weekly spread. I have really, really been enjoying decorating these. We didn't talk about the stickers really here, but I feel like there are a lot of good spots in this layout. So, I do a couple pieces of deco. A lot of these stickers are from Planners Anonymous, and then some of them are from Karyna Loves to Plan, but it's fun to put like a piece of washi across because I have so much washi, a few pieces of deco. I really enjoy these header stickers on the clear from Karyna Loves to Plan. I've been putting those in. I just feel like there's a lot of good spaces to use what I have. It doesn't use a lot of anything, but at 2 pages a day, it's going to add up towards using my stash. I also feel like I have more use for these stickers that come with my Planners Anonymous kits. I haven't really been using them yet, but I'm trying to. I'm just keeping them in my planner to try to have them at hand. But these columns here are 1.5 inches wide, and I did that, purposefully so that box stickers that I don't have a use for can go in here. The photos, as I mentioned, can go there. Header stickers like this that are 1.5 inches wide. So I did that very consciously, so that it can help me use the stuff I already have, because I have a lot of stuff and I need to use it. And I really prefer using it in situations where I'm really spending time with them. Like, yes, the spread only is with me for a day, but I'm here for a day really in it, and that makes me happier than these weekly stickers that I wanted to enjoy for a week, but I actually didn't spend any time with them. Is it weird to talk about spending time with stickers? Maybe, but maybe you can relate. Anyway, this has just been me blabbing on for a while, but I really enjoy watching videos of people talking through their mentality on this kind of thing. I think in some ways what's most interesting to me about planner videos is the insight into how other people's brains work and what I can learn about myself by hearing how other people think, even if mine is completely opposite. My good friend Karyna likes to pre-decorate all 7 of her daily pages, and I totally understand why for someone that might reduce angst, effort and angst, but for me that would cause it, because I don't want to decide now what I'm going to feel like looking at 6 days from now. That doesn't feel good to me. And so even though that doesn't feel good to me to do that kind of idea, I really enjoy watching other people do it so that I can ruminate on what works for them and see how it might feel for me. So that's my intention here. I'm making a commitment here on camera to all of you. I'm not buying anything. I don't need to buy anything. If the Wonderland 222 has a summer sale on their 192-page notebook in the July to August range, which could happen, I will buy one. That is the only thing. You have heard it here. I have spoken it into existence. Other than that, the only thing I'm worrying about is if I get a journal, a notebook, near September. Or I sell this and buy something in June. I don't think I'm going to do that. So anyway, I know people like to ask about my planner covers. This is from Planners Anonymous. This is a B6 Melody. I'm pretty sure it's sold out, but there might be other styles on the website. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you found it interesting or potentially inspirational. Let me know, how are you doing 4 months in on month 5 here? Are you thinking about 2025? Tell me. Are you thinking about 2025? I would like to know. We can all not think about it by talking about it together. That doesn't make any sense. Thanks for hanging out with me. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this. Hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more from me. And we'll hang out again soon. Bye, friends.